Friends at 5 today, as we are talking about threats that were called into high schools all over the state. I'm Andrea Mock, and we are so happy to have Darcy Strickland in with our students to hear how this is affecting them and what happened on campus today. Darce.
You're right about that, Andrea. We've got 6 students, all high school students from different high schools around the Midlands. We're going to let them introduce themselves in just a couple of minutes, but we're excited to hear from them on the student perspective of what today meant to them.
Well, News 19 has been collecting stories from students that were inside Blythewood High School today. Some say they had to climb through windows and even barricaded doors out of fear that there was, in fact, an active shooter on their campus. One student spoke to News 19 about all the confusion and then the frustration that his classmates were feeling today.
Like, everybody get out of the classroom, and then we get outside and all the police just, you know, you just see the police cars coming all the way through, and then we get outside, the police say run to the stadium. Put everybody's health in danger. You know, all these students, you got 2,000 students in the school, you can't be doing this just for some fun TikTok challenges.
Very wise words there from a young man, and students and families tell us that they are so thankful that there were no injuries and that they were able to reconnect with their kids tonight, but no doubt everybody feeling shaky. News 19's Nate Stanley is going to have more from those students. We want to hear from them and what they experienced today. That is coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. But like Darcy said earlier, we are so thankful to get to hear from the students themselves. It's a treat for us, and we want to send things over to Darcy and get it in their own words about what a day like today has been like to experience.
Yeah, Andrea, we as parents think we know how our students feel, and as Jennifer Wolf said, sometimes we talk to them about it and we don't really get an answer from them, a clear, concise answer from them, but we know this panel of 6 students are going to talk to us in real terms about what it's like to be a high school student today. So we're going to let each one of you introduce yourself. You're going to say your first name and what high school you're with. We're going to start with you on the back row, Stowe.
Seafloor High School.
Okay, you pass the mic down.
My name is Ranty, and I go to Hammond School.
My name's Paul. I go to AC Flora High School.
My name is Kathy, and I go to Spring Valley High School.
My name's Samantha, and I go to Blythewood High School.
And we've got another mic, so they'll definitely hear you. Go ahead.
My name is Kaylee, and I go to Richland East High School.
So you 3 ladies on the front row are Richland District 2 students. So Samantha, you are a Blythewood High School student. When you saw what happened today, what did you think?
I was actually not physically there at first. I was actually on a field trip for my teacher cadet class. But the second it happened, I got a lot of phone calls from my friends saying that there is a gun in the school. And at first, I was horrified. I was thinking, oh my gosh, people I know, people I love are going to die today. That was my first thought, and it horrified me.
That's her perspective from a Richland 2 student. Guys in the back, what were you guys thinking? Because, I mean, I know social media moves pretty quickly, so you probably heard about this, even with it not being in your district.
Yeah, I heard about it on like Snapchat, and a couple of my friends in Richland 2 texted me about it, but I didn't really know what was going on until a couple hours ago.
For me, you can kind of like hear it, you know, when you're going around the halls to your classes, you can hear people talking, you know, have you heard what happened at Blythewood? And then you're curious, like, okay, what happened? And then maybe you do some research, maybe you talk to your friends about it, and that's how I figured out. I did some research on it after hearing about something happened at Blythewood. I did research, and that's when I figured out what happened, and it was very tragic, very bad.
I first heard, and I didn't really know what to think, but I assumed that they were real, so I was just like hoping for the safety of all the students and hoping for the safety of everyone there, and that it wasn't real.
So we saw the Snapchat videos, we saw the Instagram videos, and a lot of the videos the kids were saying we thought this was a drill. Do you feel like you guys are maybe becoming desensitized to this type of thing?
Well, I think, like, with everything that's going on today, that in some ways it's like, I hate to say that it's almost normal because you hear about all these like shootings going around in our nation, and I think our schools and our school district did a really good job of preparing us. We had these like drills, like lockdown drills, and I think that we really have to thank our teachers and our school administrators for really demonstrating strong leadership and teaching us like the correct ways to react in situations like this.
Do you think that this ever will stop happening?
Unfortunately, I don't think that it's going to stop completely. I think it's something that we will have to get used to, but also figure out ways to improve the situation. And I think right now that's up to like our school superintendent, our district administrators. So, yeah.
Does this feel like y'all's norm?
Yes.
It does? Let me step over here so I can make sure I get you to answer this question for me. Unfortunately, this is your norm.
Yes, it is our norm, sadly, because a lot of times children are being more used to having to deal with shootings and drills rather than actually learning in school.
So how do you deal with that?
Personally, what I like to do is I like to push that sort of image out of my head, like a lot of students might not do, because if I don't personally, I will have a lot of anxiety about, will I see this person the next day? Will I be able to see my family?
I know we as parents look at it differently. We panic every time something like this happens. If you had a message that you could give to parents who are watching tonight, what would, and I'm going to get you to sit next back down this way, what would your message be to the parents? Because we're automatically going to go into protect our child mode. What do you say?
I mean, I think this kind of thing starts with the parents and just adults in general, because the threat of school shootings is such like a big issue nowadays because of how catastrophic the actual school shootings are. And I think it's up to a lot of the adults, many of whom are parents in power, to like pass laws and look into legislation that would prevent this from being such a big issue. So when that it is a hoax like today, it doesn't become like as much of like a threat, or it doesn't instill as much anxiety in people.
What do you think as parents that we can do to better equip you all for a day like this at school?
I feel like this thing we can do is preparation. As this is becoming more frequent and more sadly normal, I feel like the best thing we can do is prepare their kids, so when they get into situations like this, they know how to handle themselves, they know what to do, so they won't immediately go into a sense of panic. They'll be like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and hopefully that will help increase that sense of panic, that sense of fear. Obviously you can't take it all away, but hopefully with these preparations you can at least decrease it a bit.
Stowe, there's going to be a parent who's looking at their child right now and they're going to say, okay, you're going to delete Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook. Well, not Facebook, y'all don't have Facebook, but all of the other apps. Is that the right answer?
I don't think that is the right answer exactly. I think as parents, they should be teaching us to properly use social media and to encourage good behavior and not just give into these hoaxes and these threats. And I think that's just, yeah.
More the answer.
Yes.
So not give me your phone and never pick it up again,
Yes.
but yeah, let me talk to you about how to do this responsibly. Samantha, excuse me for stepping in front of you. What is school going to be like tomorrow at Blythewood?
I think school is going to be very different. Usually Blythewood has a very good sense of community, and I think because of today we kind of lost that a little bit. It's going to be, the whole atmosphere of the school is going to be a lot different, and not just tomorrow, but I think for months and maybe the rest of the school year.
We heard from some students that you guys had just gone through a drill.
We did. We had just gone through a fire drill, and so we actually have fire drills a lot because of some construction like messing with the things. But when it actually, we're so used to like fire drills happening, then we hear lockdown drills and we're just like, oh my gosh. It's a lot different.
It's a lot different, and it's a lot to handle, and we're super excited, again, as I mentioned at the top of the newscast, to have these 6 young people. They are all student leaders in their respective schools. They're the best of the best, the cream of the crop, and so they're going to continue to talk to us about having this tough conversation with not just your high schooler, but your middle school student, and for some of you, maybe even your elementary school student. So we're going to continue the conversation. If you have questions, we encourage you to text them in 803-776-9508. Even if you have questions for the kids, you guys will answer them for us? Absolutely. All right, we're going to send things back into the studio with Andrea.